Now we said that we have this. We can actually ask the uh, users to enter certain number. For that one, we can use the prompt. Okay. So the for prompt we have the special function. So let's go back. For the prompt, we have the multiple different functions. So if you want the user to enter the integer, we can call it the function number 5. If you want the user to key in the string, we can call the function number 8, etc. So you can see the different functions here to get the different values from the user. So in this case, let's look at the simple exercise. So I have this is some variable called prompt. I can name it anything, so I'm calling it prompt. Okay, so it says what is your favorite number. So I'm gonna ask the user about their favorite number. So let's first, in our program, what we do is first we're gonna print this message here, right? So we're gonna print this message. How? First we're gonna call the function. So this will call the, if you remember again, that when we call the v0 with 4 is the function number, it will just print the string a0. Okay, so when we call this function, it will print the string a0. But a0, it's empty right now at the beginning of the code. A0 is empty. So what we're gonna do is inside the a0 we're gonna call this prompt. Okay, so now the value inside the a0 is the address of this message, and then we're gonna call the function. So when we call the function, this message will be printed. Okay, now once we print the message, now we have to prompt the user to key in the number. For that one, we have another function called number 5. So number 5 is actually the read integer function. Okay, so I'm gonna use this one, the v05, and then I will execute this function. So this function now will wait for the user to key in the certain number. So when the user will key in the number, that number will be stored inside the register v0 here. So v0 is, as we said, the output of the function. So whatever user will key in, it will be stored inside the v0. So what we can do is actually we can move the data from v0 to the register t0, so we can use it later. Okay, so from the v0 we can move the data to the t0. Or what we can do is actually we can load the immediate v0 10, right? So these are just in this case 10 is the exit command. So this is the exit function once we finish running the program. Okay, so let's execute this program. So at the beginning, again, I'm gonna create the inside the v0. Okay, so I'm gonna, let me clear this one, print the prompt. Okay, so the syscall, and as you can see here, it says what's your favorite number, but right now I cannot key in the number here, not yet. Why? Because I didn't call this function yet. The next function is the v05 read integer function. So let's call this function using the syscall. Now as you can see, I can key in the number. So if I, for example, key in the number 5 and click the enter, now I can execute the next line. Okay, and now with the next line, what will happen is that we move this, if you look at the v0 is equal to 5, right? So this is equal to 5, but then we move this value to inside the t0. So t0 also becomes 5 now, and then we can finish our program. Okay, so right now we prompt the user. So let's do something with that data. Okay, so we're gonna ask the user to key in the data, and then we're gonna print this message. So message will say that your number plus 10 is equal to, for example 15 or 12, etc. Okay, so the beginning is the same. So here we asking the user to key in the number. So this is, we are reading the integer from the user, and then we have the add immediately. So what we're gonna do is the value that the user entered is inside the v0. So what we do is we add the 10 to the v0 and store the result inside the t1. Okay, so then we're going to print that message. So this message says that your number is 10, your number plus 10 is, and then we're going to print we're going to call this print integer function. So as you can see, v01 is actually the print integer function. We're going to call this function. So in this case, we're going to move the result of this addition, t1, inside the register a0, and then this a0 will be printed out. Okay, and then we're going to finish our program. Okay, so let's execute this. At the beginning, we're going to prompt the user. So let me clear this. Okay, so at the bottom it says what's your favorite number. So let's click this so we can key in the number. So let me key in, for example, the 2. Okay, I click enter. So now we can go to the next line. So this one is already performed addition. T1 equal to 10 plus 2, which is equal to 12, and 12 is C in hexadecimal, so it's C now. Okay, let's execute the next. We're going to print the message. So the message says your number plus 10 is, and then we're going to actually move the value from the T0 to A0. Right now, as you can see, A0 holds the address of this message. So this message here, this is our message, right? So this your number plus 10 is, this is the message. If I click this, you can see that your number plus 10 is, etc. So A0 now holds the address of this message. But now what we do is we're going to move the this addition result to the A0. So I click again. Okay. So now if you look inside the A0, A0 is equal to C now, right? So C is the result of our addition, 10 plus 2, 12. Okay, so let's execute our program, and as you can see here, your number plus 10 is equal to 12. It says at the bottom, right? So your number, our number is 2, plus 10 is equal to 12, and then we can finish the program.